Good morning from the Yarn Closet in Tucson, Arizona. It's going to be a short podcast today, mostly about the things and the shenanigans and life. Oh, hi, baby. Come on. That was Chip. He just brought his little buddy over, his stuffed animal, and then he went away. I want to say thank you for everybody who sent some love, made a prayer, did whatever. Chip was pretty bad for a couple of days. It was freaking us out. I am Yarn Closet AZ for Arizona on Instagram and Ravelry. There's a webpage, TheYarnCloset.com, and the Yarn Closet on Patreon, and the Yarn Closet Teespring shop. I want to thank my Patreons, and I want to thank the people purchased on Teespring, because all of that is helpful to our monthly, hi baby, hi, our monthly giveaways. We do a monthly giveaway, and I'd like to do more than just monthly. Yes, baby. We do, try to do project bags, a sock tube, cranked sock tube or cranked hat tube, some Braille stitch markers, some goods from Growly Bear Soap Company here in Arizona. Yes, baby. So the more support, the more giveaways we will have, and I really do enjoy the giveaways and connecting with people. My mom really enjoys it also, and we will start to see Knitting Kitty more often. She'll be here next week, or I'll be over there next week for a podcast. This week just turned crazy. I ended up having to go back into the doctor frequently because my incision opened up on Sunday under this side, and that was ridiculous. And of course I go in and the doctor's like, this really never happens. And I'm like, of course, that makes total sense. And my body naturally has an aversion to stitches. It spits them out very quickly. Back in the day, I tried to have certain body piercings, and those got spit out quickly. My dad, when he had his bladder cancer, his incision was sewed up in the morning. 6 hours later, we're driving him home, 20-minute drive. We get him home, the whole incision came open. It was ridiculous. So I think it must run in the family. And then we had to take Prue back to the doctor to check in about her strawberry allergy. So it's just been crazy time. And we have the funeral for my mother-in-law on Friday, and I appreciate all the kindness from everyone in regard to that. That was quite unexpected, and it's been a challenge. So any prayers for my husband and his siblings would be well appreciated. That was my lovely morning smoothie with my vegetable protein, and today it had apples and a cucumber mint juice that I have, so it's quite tasty. I really do think that's making a difference. I really do feel better. What I've noticed 2 weeks on is that some of the initial, wow, I feel great, has passed. I'm tired but not exhausted because it's hard to sleep. I'll wake up when I roll because something will hurt. And I'm still trying to be quiet and let myself heal because there's a lot of healing that needs to happen. And I think some of the initial, oh wow, this weird thing got better, was because you're on a long-acting antibiotic. I noticed I have this spot on my gums that was better, and now it's getting worse again. So I'm thinking maybe the antibiotic was helping with that. I don't know. A little bit of my shoulder pain is back, and I think that might just be because I'm still dealing with stuff, or because of the long-acting pain relief was helpful with that. And I'm trying not to take anything major right now, just so I don't accidentally overdo. But all in all, I think this has been absolutely worth it. It's ridiculous. Just the fact that I feel more alert. I don't feel like I'm in a fog all the time. Just the fact that I'm not exhausted. I'm just tired. That goofy sadness that I always felt kind of weighed me down is gone. I've lost like all body, full body inflammation. All of that has been so helpful. And yes, I still do kind of bloat in the evenings and swell up. But I'm hoping long term that that continues to improve. A lot of people say that it does. I appreciate everyone that's been supportive and helping me through this time, and your health is really one of the most valuable things you have in your relationships. And that's what I'm learning. And oddly enough, I had an irrational fear that this incision or one of my incisions would open up, or that I would have some kind of complications. And you know what? It happened, and it wasn't a big deal. We got through it. We're dealing with it. You just move on. Honestly, I was more stressed out about my little chippy this week than those things for me. Tells me that when I am worrisome about something, fearful of something, I need to just put it away. So enough of the shenanigans. You'll see my mom next week in the second sweater that I have done in Sweater 2019. It fit both of us, but it was just a little bit too big for me, and because we're about 5 inches difference in height now, 6 inches difference in height now, it fit her quite perfectly, where on me it was slightly cropped. It was intended to be cropped, but it just fit her very well, and I think she'll get more use out of it than I would, because you know, when it just doesn't fit the way you're expecting, you might as well give it to someone who likes it and it's fitting the way that they like, because you want your stuff that you put all this time and effort into to be loved and appreciated. And that's my little Chip and his buddy. I got Chip for my 40th birthday present to myself, so he's turning 48 in another month, just over a month. And he was supposed to be my 4-pound dog. He's 12 pounds. So anyway, so I decided, I got a number of skeins of yarn and some crochet hooks and things from my mother-in-law's estate, because I'm the crafty one. So I went and found another top-down raglan, but this time a crocheted version from Lion Brand. Tried to modify it based on the information. And you know, sometimes a pattern is written and it's tested in one size, and then they just calculate. And sometimes they don't take into consideration that you can't just upscale. That just because it was worked for maybe the size medium, that you can't just take all the measurements and downscale them the same percentage. You can't just take all the measurements and upscale them the same percentage. Because I was following gauge, and what I got was an insane, I mean, I went back and I figured out gauge, and I did all this, and I swatched, and I did about this much to the pattern, and it did not work. Did not. So I ended up doing another swatch in half double crochet because I like the crocheted fabric just a little bit better. And I have this lovely alpaca cotton, which is, let me see, I think this says Manos del Uruguay, and I think it's Serena. Yeah, I don't pronounce things properly. So I also think that in HDC, it's going to maintain its shape better, where the original pattern that I was trying to do was in double crochet, and maybe that's why it was pulling out more. I don't know. So anyway, I just did another swatch in half double and figured out my own numbers based on the last sweater that I did. And here we go. What I'm doing is a top-down raglan. It's going to have in the front, you see this? It's going to be V-neck until you connect around your arms, and then from that point down it's going to be the cardigan. And I am going to do a single crochet border around everything. So in knitting you would do like a rib collar and then you'd start to work the body. I'm just doing the body, and I will attach the single crochet border afterwards. So right now I think this is about where we're talking about. So then once you get that extra single crochet, I can make it exactly however tight I want it. Yeah, I don't quite have this in the right spot. It should be. For raglan, whenever you're testing the side, it should be, the middle between this side should be right over here. So these should be equally down in the front and the back. And you just got to trust that raglan is going to work. If you're starting out with good numbers, it is going to work. Sometimes people will decrease in this section as they get closer to here if they want a slightly tighter sleeve. I'm planning that once I connect for the body, I'm not adding anything to the sleeves. So I'm just going to do the single crochet cuff because I like short sleeve. And I think it'll work out just fine. And I'm really enjoying it. It's not going as fast as I would have liked because I'm getting sore more quickly. And it didn't go right the first time, so I kind of blew a week in having to redo. What else? And that's fine. I still think I'll get it done in May because I'm also kind of focusing on the crochet in May that Christy Glass is talking about. Because I think that's really fun. I like to, in the last year and a half since I really got into the knitting, I've missed doing my crochet because that's kind of where I came from. And so I hope to finish the sweater, the crocheted sweater this month, and maybe a crocheted blanket. One of the other things is I found out one of my doctors from the surgery is a knitter and a crocheter. So I gave her one of our monthly giveaway things. And she was very intrigued by the whole sock too, because she said she'd never been able to turn a heel. And I said, this is perfect because it's just doing another toe when you do an afterthought heel. So I'm going to try to finish up this pair that I've been working on because I am trying to finish a pair of socks every month. So I'm going to at least try to get this sock done for my doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. If not, my next appointment for sure will be on the 30th. So hopefully I'll get the pair done by then so she can see how that kind of works out. She was very excited. She thought it was cool. She didn't know. She didn't know about the YouTubing. So it'll be fun. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull back here and I'm going to do ribbing to finish off this sock with the gray toe and heel, but I'm going to do ribbing in the same body colors. And yeah, and sadly this heel is a little bit wonky. That bugs me, but I'm just going to get it done there for me. And maybe I'll send them to my sister. Orange is her color. She's embraced orange. She has a life coaching, an online life coaching business and an in-person life coaching business in Minnesota. And she also does travel with groups of women. She sets up, like a travel package and then brings women with, because she's a very good traveler, really enjoys it. And, sometimes you're not a good traveler. I'm not the best traveler in the world. I was better before my eyesight got bad. I get a little anxious. And then as women, sometimes you don't want to travel by yourself. So she does the group thing. And I think that's really neat. Heidi Ann Nelson on Instagram, ANNE, Nelson, SON. So you can look her up. We look nothing alike. She doesn't look like me. She looks like my mom with darker skin. Honestly, that's all I got. That's it. That's all I got. Look with your heart first. Thank you so much for the Patreons and the Teespring people. Everything will continue to grow throughout this year. We are coming up on our 1-year podcasting anniversary in July. And I am sure my producer, Connor, is trying to convince us to have a little party. So we'll see how that goes. Have a wonderful week.